You want the cold truth about .357 Magnum lever-action rifles? Here it is. Some of these guns are way more likely to get you in trouble than out of it. Forget the old stories of flawless cowboy carbines and silk-smooth actions. Because today, we're diving straight into the lever guns that may just leave you jammed, fumbling, and regretting your purchase when it matters most. Picture this. You're standing on the range, or maybe you're out in the field with your heart pounding from the chase. Your target appears. You rack the lever, ready for action, and nothing. The action grinds. The round won't chamber. Or worse, your magazine jams. Instead of that slick, fast lever action you imagined, you're faced with a frustrating mess. Too dramatic? Unfortunately, not for the unlucky souls who've bought one of our top 5 most unreliable .357 lever rifles. Let's make sure you aren't next. Starting at number 5, let's talk about a rifle that lured in a ton of shooters with cowboy looks, and a price tag that doesn't blow up your bank account. The Rossi R 92.357 Magnum. On paper, this rifle checks every box. Winchester 1892. Styling, stainless or blued finishes? Classic wood furniture? Absolutely. Affordability? You bet. But here's where things start to get dicey. Rack the lever on a brand new R92, and instead of smooth cycling, you might feel like you're dragging the action through a gravel pit. And don't even get us started on .38 special rounds. This rifle seems to hate them, often misfeeding, stovepiping, or just outright jamming at the most inconvenient moments. Sure, some might say you should just slick it up with aftermarket springs or a homebrew polish job. But think about it. Should you really have to break out your toolbox and worry about DIY upgrades for a gun that's supposed to be ready out of the box? You want a reliable lever action, not a project rifle. And here's the kicker. Quality control with Rossi is like rolling the dice. Some people nag a smooth-shooting gem, others wind up with a lemon that leaves a sour taste that might be okay if you're only plinking at the range. But if you're relying on this rifle for hunting or self-defense, that lack of reliability can bite hard. And the sights? Let's just say that unless you enjoy straining your eyes, you'll be looking at aftermarket options pretty soon. Now, the R92 does have its charms. It offers lightweight, nimble handling, and that undeniable cowboy appeal. If you're the kind of shooter who enjoys tinkering, you might take pride in fixing the flaws yourself. But be honest, shouldn't a good lever action be smooth, reliable, and a pleasure to shoot straight out of the box? For those seeking peace of mind, this one will probably leave you frustrated. Buyer beware. Not all lever guns with vintage looks deliver vintage performance. Moving on to number 4, the Henry Big Boy Classic in .357 Magnum is the definition of looks can be deceiving. You'd be hard-pressed to find a rifle more beautiful, with its polished brass receiver shining like a trophy, and its smooth American walnut stock drawing admiring looks at every show and range. Henry's craftsmanship is legendary, and you can feel the pride of American manufacturing in every detail. But if you believe this rifle is made for hard use, think twice. Let's knock out the big problem first. This rifle is heavy, over 8.5 pounds, in a class where competitors often shave off a full pound or more. Carry this through the woods or out on a long hunt, and you'll start to feel that weight turning from charming to a flat-out burden. And the loading system? No side gate. Instead, you fumble with the underbarrel tube, forcing you to pull out the inner tube, drop rounds in one at a time, and carefully slide everything back. Try doing that in cold weather, or when you're in a hurry. The result? The Big Boy Classic feels more like a range queen than a true working rifle. Admittedly, the shooting experience is pleasant. Smooth cycling, gentle recoil, and more than decent accuracy at 100 yards. This rifle really belongs above a fireplace or as the centerpiece of your collection rather than as a tool for serious hunters or those who expect speed in a pinch. It's a beauty pageant winner, not a brawler. So, if you want to wow your friends with its looks, absolutely go for it. But if you want something light, fast, and practical for the field, the big boy will leave you wishing for less brass and more grit. Coming up at number 3, we have a rifle that takes classic look, modern headache to the next level. The Uberti 1873. There's no denying, Uberti nails the Old West vibe. The case-hardened receiver, polished walnut, all the trappings of a cowboy legend. It's a crowd stopper at any event, perfect for collectors or cowboy action shooting fans. But pick it up for real-world reliability, and the cracks in the foundation start to show. Let's talk about those screws, infamously soft and unforgiving. One slip of your screwdriver and you'll strip them faster than you can say gunsmith. Most shooters swap them out immediately, because sooner or later, you will have to disassemble this rifle for routine maintenance or repairs. Think about this. Shouldn't a premium-priced gun come with hardware built to last? And while it's chambered in both .357 Magnum and .38 Special, it often stumbles hard feeding those lighter .38 rounds. Imagine getting jam after jam with ammo you specifically bought the rifle to shoot. But that's not all. The metal inside is softer than you'd expect, leading to rapid wear and tear if you're a gunslinger in competitions or a regular at the range internals wear. Parts need frequent replacement, and unless you upgrade or polish with aftermarket kits or send it off to a specialist, you'll likely be disappointed right out of the box. For the price? That stings. The 1873 is a gun that, with a bunch of work, has real potential. Yet at its hefty price tag, shouldn't performance be ready to go on day one? For the Uberti 1873, the answer is heartbreakingly not really. Here's the sad reality. This rifle is closer to a museum piece than a trusted tool. Display it, admire it, maybe run it in a few competitions after upgrades. Just don't count on it for fast, flawless field action right from the factory. Now, things start to get personal. Number 2 is the Marlin 1894C from the infamous Remington era, or as some folks dubbed them, the dreaded Remlins. Let's travel back to 2007, when Remington bought out Marlin. There was real hope in the air. The Marlin name, after all, was legendary for building lever actions that cycled like butter, shot straight, and stood the test of time. But after the buyout, quality control nosedived straight off a cliff. Imagine buying a new rifle, famous name, solid reputation, and then unboxing a gun that has crooked barrels, misaligned sights, shoddy wood fit, and machining so rough it's hard to believe it passed inspection at all. But the worst was the feeding issues. Right out of the box, jams, double feeds, and outright failures to chamber were shockingly common. For a lever action, where the whole appeal is rapid, reliable cycling, these kinds of failures are hard to forgive. Sure, some handy owners tried to fix things by themselves, with varying success. But here's the problem. Rifles shouldn't leave the factory needing a home. Gunsmith just to work right. Consistency became the problem. Buy a Remlin, and you never knew what you'd get. Some rifles worked okay, others were disasters. And unless you were an expert familiar with all the tells, you could walk right into a gun shop, buy a lemon, and find yourself dealing with headaches for years. Now, fair's fair. Ruger has since revived the Marlin legacy, and current rifles are reportedly fantastic. But those old Remlins? They still show up in used racks or online auctions, waiting to catch the unsuspecting buyer. If you get tempted by a used 1894C, check that serial number. Anything made from 2007 to around 2019 could be a problem child. Inspect the action. Do your research, because nobody deserves to own a rifle where legendary reliability gave way to legendary frustration. And finally, sitting at number 1, we have what might be the most controversial pick on this list. The Winchester Model 94AE in .357. Magnum for most shooters, the Winchester 94 is the American lever-action. Links to generations of cowboys and stories. But when chambered for the .357 Magnum, it's a classic case of great rifle, bad fit. The original Model 94 was designed in the 1890s to shoot long rifle cartridges, not the short, stubby pistol rounds like .357. When Winchester adapted it for the .357, they were forcing a square peg into a round hole. The result? Feeding issues galore. The .357. Magnum doesn't move smoothly through the action. Hang-ups are routine, misfeeds frequent, and the overall cycle feels stiff and awkward, about as far from slick and fast as you can get. Balance is another issue. This rifle feels bulky and front-heavy, robbing you of that nimble, quick shoulder feel you want from a pistol-caliber carbine. For fast follow-up shots or rapid handling, the 94AE just doesn't deliver. The build quality is undeniably solid, and Winchester's legacy is strong, but when comparing to other .357 lever guns, this one lags behind badly. That's how the Model 94AE in .357 earned its spot as our #1 unreliable lever gun that's sure to get you in trouble. So, why do so many .357 lever actions fall short? It all comes down to compromise. Adapting classic designs, built for longer cartridges, to modern Magnum rounds or cheaper manufacturing standards has left some rifles lacking. Sometimes it's sheer weight, other times it's feeding mechanics, rough internals, or just plain bad luck at the factory. Choose the wrong one, and you're in for a world of jams, misfires, or slow reloads right when you need speed the most. Some of the rifles on this list can be improved with aftermarket parts, professional tuning, or just hours of patience and tinkering. But remember, upgrades cost time and money. If your heart is set on vintage charm, go in with open eyes and perhaps a few tools at the ready. If your priority is flawless reliability, consider chasing down newer models with rigorous, transparent quality control. Now, one last word about collector mentality. There's nothing wrong with loving a rifle for its looks, its historical value, or its status as a conversation starter. But never forget, some of these guns earned their bad reputations for reasons that live on long after the first shot. History teaches us what to expect, and the lesson here is clear. Do your homework, test every function before you buy, and never let style blind you to substance. Why trust reviews like these? Because behind every jammed lever, every stovepipe, every bruised hand from heavy unbalanced stock, there's a shooter who learned the hard way, so you don't have to. Maybe you still have fond memories of that one lever action that never let you down. Maybe you're dreaming of your first. Either way, don't let nostalgia or shiny stocks fool you. Buy with clear eyes, test with honest hands, and demand performance from every round. So, which of these rifles do you think is the worst offender? Have you had a battle with one of these notorious jammers? Or did you defy the odds and get a flawless example? Jump into the discussion. Your story might just save someone a costly mistake. And if you found this deep dive into unreliable lever actions helpful, do yourself a favor. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss more brutally honest breakdowns. At the end of the day, lever actions will always have their die-hard fans, and for good reason. They're American classics, a link to frontier legends, and some are a pure joy to own and shoot. Just know where the pitfalls are before you saddle up. Sometimes, the only thing worse than a jam is never knowing it was coming. Until next time, shoot straight, choose wisely, and don't let a legendary name trick you into repeating the mistakes of the past.